I wonder how I came to this field of literature, because I belong to a backward community and my parents were poor weavers. They were illiterate. There was no bookish atmosphere at my house, but I had a craze for reading. I used to read almost all the available Tamil journals of those days, and this produced in me a craving to see my name in print in the Tamil journals. So I began to cultivate my language. I used to write thousands of pages, short stories, novelettes, prose poems, and such things, and send them to the then existent Tamil journals. Many of them were not published, perhaps because they found they were unfit for publication. But when I reached the college, I came into contact with the masters of world literature like Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, and Victor Hugo, Emily Zola, and so many others. I found that literature was not only a hobby, but it was a serious affair, and the words were more powerful than words. Naturally, from the early days, I don't know how it happened, I stood for justice. I stood for fairness done to women. I stood for the poor. I had to quarrel with my father, very kind father indeed, on behalf of the weavers. If he tried to cut the salaries, I would go to quarrel with him. This was my habit, even from my early days. But this habit could not yield fruits when I could not win my father to my side. But I began to give expression to all these provocations in my literature. Woman was the first person to whom I had a great affection for, because I found that she was being subjected to cruel handling by men. And I have written a number of stories about how women are suffering. Even in my own house, there was a widow who had to work from early morning to night. And I have written a short story about her, how she was suffering. And this is the genesis of my literature. This was very normal. And when I was 23, I wrote a novel, Nityagandhi. I took that story from Mahabharatam. It's the story of the daughter of Yati, the great emperor. Madhavi was her name. She was blessed with eternal virginity. That is, she would regain her virginity as soon as she gave birth to a child. And I found the story goes on to say that she had to marry 4 husbands. And then when she comes back to her father arranges for a Swamvara. That is, she would live with a 5th husband. I could not tolerate this injustice done to the woman. I found that it was nothing but cruelty in a male-dominated society, cruelty of a male-dominated society. And I wrote that story as a novel of about 200 pages. And I think it is one of my perfect novels, which is still prescribed as the core book in Tamil Nadu. She marries 3 husbands, at first, according to my story. Then she had to marry the guru who should see her as a daughter, who should see her as his daughter. But she was in love with Kalava, and Kalava refuses to marry her because she was the wife of her master. And when the emperor wants to remarry her, wants to arrange for a Swayamvara, she runs away to the forest. And the Kalava, the lover, whose weakness is poo-pooed by an artist king, also becomes a man in despair. That is how the story goes in my novel. Orupan Poradigral, a woman is fighting, is my another novel. In this novel also, I have brought out the importance of womanhood. At the same time, I think one man, one woman code of our culture is all right if it is practiced correctly. Here in this novel, the husband and wife are prepared to lay one's life for the other. Husband is ready to lay down his life for his wife, and the wife is ready to give up her life for her husband. Both of them take up swords against their enemies, fight with their enemies, landlords, and lose their lives. That is how that story goes. I have dealt with almost all the problems that confront us in our daily life, personal, social, communal, and national. But above all these things, I found that I am only a part of a great machinery, and I and my thoughts and my thinking, all these things are controlled by some other forces in life. I had a strange experience. I found all of a sudden I began to hear voices from atmosphere. I began to see horrible sights, and it is illusion, it is hallucination. But is that hallucination false, or our human existence is false? Hallucination as though has become my life. But the strangeness of this experience is that though my eyes, my ears, I call the novel, that means the ears represent all the 5 cognitive senses. All the 5 senses act beyond his control. They see their own sights, they hear their own noises, and all from day in, day out, the hero of my novel was suffering from such hallucinations. Mahalingam is the hero of the novel, the ears, Kadigal. He began to hear strange noises and horrible scenes, and see horrible scenes all of a sudden. In the beginning, he thought he was going mad, but the strange experience was strange only because his buddhi shakti was all right. He never lost his eye consciousness and was able to tell his intimate friends about his horrible experience. And he had to live this horrible life for nearly 20 years. And he was able to survive it without becoming a madman only because he was shown the correct way by his master, whom he called Murugan, Lord Murugan, Lord Subramaniam as the North Indians call it. Story begins with his hallucinations and ends with the way out shown by his master, and with an assurance that he will shoot to win the war. And he won the war. That is how the novel is written. This novel has stirred many people, and this novel has secured this Sahitya Academy Award also. How is it different from other books? You don't feel that you are reading a real life experience. You feel you are in that hallucination. The fear expressed in the novel grips the reader from the beginning, and many readers could not read it in full. Perceptive readers there are, and a poet friend of mine told a public gathering that it was spiritual terrorism. Another friend wrote to me that it was altered hallucination. All these things are true, but I think all my literature is a pursuit of self-knowledge. I want to find out what I am. Unlike other people, I had a very serious life, meaningful, but meaning is not known. Purposeful, the purpose is not yet understood. I don't even now know the sovereign mystery of my life. And I think that my literature is an effort to find out the true I of my being. If I succeed in that attempt, I think that my literature is fulfilled. Now, this is my summing up of my novels. I feel as a creative writer, as a poet, creative writer is born, not made. It is true, but at the same time, the creative writer can be producer also if he has enough perseverance. Get acquainted with the masters of world literature. That will be my advice to my young friends. Ceaseless, incessant reading, incessant writing will help you to make yourself a creative writer. Of course, great poets are born, but great creative writers are made also. Anybody can become a creative writer, but subject to these conditions. He must be ready to study all the masters of all world literature. Intensive reading will make make us intensive thinkers. And intensive thinkers become intensive creative writers. That's how I see it.